Little late to the party with this one, but I recently picked up a Seiko, and this is the first new Seiko that I've gotten in a long time. Last summer, when the 55th anniversary SRPK17 came out, I knew that I had to have it, and about a month ago, I picked it up. To me, this is a real standout when it comes to the modern Seiko 5 line. It does have some negatives, but on the whole, I think this thing is just so cool. So let's get to it and take a look at the watch. Now, these came out, I think it was June or July last year to celebrate the 55th anniversary of the Seiko 5 line. There were a few watches that celebrated the anniversary, but this was the only one that didn't use the Seiko 5 slash SKX case design. They could have easily just slapped this dial and bezel configuration on that case and called it a day, but nope. They made this a really faithful recreation of that first ever Seiko 5 with this case design. One thing that's kind of funny with it is it's limited, but this is limited to 15,555 pieces. Yeah, that's a lot of fives there, which is a nod to the Seiko 5 line, but I don't think I've ever seen a limited edition watch with that many pieces. It's kind of crazy. If there's any with more, I'd love to hear in the comments, but that has to be some kind of record. So let's start with the dial here, and I like that they went back to the OG Seiko 5 badge, which was on the original. The one big difference between this and the original is the text at the 6 o'clock. The original says sports, water, 70 proof, and 25 joules. On this one, they added the automatic under the sports and have 24 joules and 10 bar, but they did keep that sports text the same blue as the original. Over at the 3 is the day date with the same steel surround as the original, and even the handset appear to be pretty well exactly the same. Good looking handset too, and I really like that all red lollipop second hand. That contrasting white minute track gives off some good vintagey sporty vibes. The whole watch does really, but yeah, I love that look. The loom is good to go too, nice and bright, which isn't a surprise with Seiko watches. Love the vintage style case design, and the shape sits great on the wrist. The lugs are drilled, but the holes are a little bit smaller than usual. My Bergeon tool I usually use doesn't quite fit. Not a huge big deal, but is worth mentioning. One other negative with the watch is the crown. It's a push-pull crown, and it's on the small side. You kind of have to run your finger along the underside of it to wind it, and setting the date and time is pretty much the same too. On the flip side, I like that it sinks right into the case so it looks clean, and on top of that, it's not going to rub against your wrist. The case back is a screw down case back, and the watch is numbered. Under the hood is the Seiko 24 Joule 4R36 movement with a power reserve of approximately 41 hours. The bezel is a friction bezel with a coin edge and an aluminum insert. It can move on its own occasionally, but there's a decent amount of resistance, and I've only noticed that a couple of times. The biggest problem that I have with the watch is the bracelet, which is unfortunate. I think it looks super cool. Love the look on the watch, but it wears sort of funny on my wrist due to the fact that it doesn't have much articulation. See how it forms a circle and is stiff like this? Because of that, I have a gap on the underside of my wrist. I've tried tightening it up, but then it pushes in on the sides of my wrists. Thankfully, the lugs are hooded, so this goes great on aftermarket straight and link bracelets. I've been wearing it mostly on the Bullet from Forstner. If you missed it, I did a video with 3 Forstner bracelets the other day, all on this watch for more info on that. Size on the watch comes in at a case width of 39.3 millimeters. The lug to lug is 43.1. Lug opening is 20 millimeters, and the thickness is 12.9 millimeters. The crystal is Hardlex, and the water resistance is 100 meters. And here it is on my 7.25 inch wrist. And even though the bracelet isn't the greatest, I love the watch. Easily my favorite reissue from Seiko lately. First one that got me to pull the trigger, at least in a while. Now, even though these came out last year, they're still fairly easy to track down. Even saw one the other day on Amazon. Full MSRP for these is 415 USD, and so far, even with the negatives, I'm really happy with it. Yeah, there is a massive amount of pieces out there, but if you're thinking about one, I'd probably try to get it sooner rather than later. I'd imagine at some point the inventory will dry up. Appreciate you taking a few minutes to stop by, and we'll see you real soon. Bye bye.